On March 8th in 2025, we got together to do a podcast. We got Doug Rutter and Guitar Slim. We're gonna do our podcast, and we're doing it just for him. We're boogieing boys. Yeah, we're boogieing boy too. We're doing the Rebound podcast, and we're gonna send it just out to you. Now, if you like sports, or if you like music, Doug Rutter's your man, and he can get it done. Now, if you like the blues or rock and roll, just look all around you, boy. This guy's got a lot of soul. We're doing the Rebound podcast. Ho! We're doing the Rebound broadcast. And it's a podcast. If you like music and sports, this is the place to be. Yay!
My name's Doug Rutter. Welcome to the podcast, Rebound podcast, season 2, episode 7. I'm with guitar giant Pat Guitar Slim Chase.
And thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being back.
I sure appreciate it a lot. I guess we're going to talk about my grandfather also.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. My grandfather played bass. Look at this guy. Cincinnati Reds. That's my grandfather. Played professional baseball from like 1904 to 1919.
Wow.
And he unfortunately got, back then they didn't make a lot of money.
Right.
So there was a little bit of gambling going on in
the
sports.
clubhouse, yeah.
Yeah, in sports. So he got caught up with the 1919 Black Sox scandal.
He did.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that part.
You didn't know that?
No. What happened?
It was the World Series. Well, I'm not, we have another brother. Our grandfather's name is Hal Chase.
Right.
And our father's name is Hal Chase also. And my brother's name is Hal Chase also. But my brother, he knows a lot more. I didn't keep up with much of this stuff.
Yeah.
But it was in 1919. They were having a World Series. And it's fully documented about the World Series, but it was a scandal. They figured that they indicted 8 men. You remember that there was a movie called 8 Men Out? Well, our grandfather was one of those.
Really?
It was one of those 8 men who was banned from playing professional baseball.
Is that right?
Yes, him, Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Sure. And he never reclaimed his status? That was it?
No. Never did. And we were from California. He was born in California. I was born in California. And he made his way from this World Series, I think, was held in Chicago. It was the Chicago White Sox, and I don't remember what the other team's name. It might have been the Cincinnati Reds, maybe. World Series. And they figured that the game was rigged. Guys would, I guess, drop catches that were simple, and then the other team would score. They placed bets, I guess.
Sure.
And so it was a big, big deal in sports history. And so in 1920 probably, or however long the trials went on, they banned 8 major league players from ever playing baseball again, and our grandfather was one of them. He lived in California, so he made his way back to California, and he moved to Douglas, Arizona.
Wow.
Yeah. And he played down in Douglas, Arizona for the Copper Leagues. It was called the Border leagues. This is a book, the Frontier League. And this is a book, there's many books all about it, but this is a book with a lot of the history in it about our grandfather. And he recruited people like Shoeless Joe Jackson to move down here and play baseball in the Border League. Our grandfather, even in this book, it shows that our grandfather came to El Paso and played. And they would play the teams from across the border.
Right.
And it wasn't a professional. It was sponsored by, back then, they would have the Bisbee Copper Mine, and they would have these mining companies, and it was called the Copper League also. So that's what our grandfather did.
Right, but when was he captain of the Yankees?
1907. They were called the Highlanders back then.
Right.
Yeah, they were called the New York Highlanders before they built Yankee Stadium and became the New York Yankees.
Wow.
So he was the very first captain of the Yankees.
First one.
Yeah, probably in 1907.
Wow.
Maybe so. I don't know. You'd have to look it up in the history books and all that.
Was it ever a big family scandal what he did? Or
Nope.
Never was.
Nope. He died probably in 1947, a broke alcoholic.
Really?
Living in his sister's barn, not even allowed in the house.
Wow.
Because he was an alcoholic.
Wow.
I guess a lot of those guys, they said Babe Ruth was pretty good at drinking.
In the clubhouse.
So, and they interviewed Babe Ruth, and they said, if you could have an all-star team, who would you have? And he goes, I'd have Hal Chase on first base.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. So did baseball end in the Chase family there, or did anybody else play?
No, nobody else played.
Really?
Our father did play in the California Coastal League. I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
A minor league. Our father did. But no, nobody else picked it up. No, we all were pretty damn good baseball players.
Yeah.
But I discovered pot and guitars.
Pot and guitars.
So we would sit around with my friends and learn how to play guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as well as we know each other, and I was thinking about it this morning, I've never heard your story.
About what?
Just your story. I mean,
About me?
Yeah, where you were born and grew up, and what did you do?
Well, I was born in Watsonville, California, and just for Valentine's Day, I go back. I was just there last month.
Why do you go back for Valentine's Day?
To visit my family.
Okay.
And
it just so happens to be Valentine's Day?
That's my birthday, yeah.
Oh, your birthday's Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I always, and I book.
You were born on the day that Terry and I got married, and for a reason, right?
Yeah, good for you. I got married on that day too.
Did you?
Yeah. Doesn't mean it's going to work. It doesn't mean it'll work.
No guarantees.
No, But yeah, I got married on that day. But I went back to my...
Well, how old are you?
71.
71.
Yeah.
So we've been married 46 out of your 71 years.
Wow, good for you. How has she put up with you this long?
Everybody asks the same question.
I bet they do.
They say she must be a saint.
She's got to be a saint.
Little do they know. She's not a saint.
Oh, my God. Oh, it's probably the same way that Dolly Parton was married for 60 years.
Wow, huh?
You know what she said? I'm never home. That's what she said.
Yeah.
I'm away a lot. I'm gone a lot.
Yeah.
So that's the shoot.
Okay, so you and your friends sat around and...
Well, my brother, when we shared the same bedroom, and when he was, I think now, a couple of weeks ago, my brother said it was his 12th birthday. And I was 10 and he had just turned 12, and he got a guitar for his birthday, and he got a year's worth of guitar lessons. So he would come home and show me, the chords and things. And my brother's right-handed and I'm left-handed, and so he just put the guitar I just naturally put it this way. And I was 10 years old, and neither one of us knew whether it was right or wrong. So he'd say, put your finger here and a finger there, and he'd show me a G chord. So
Upside down.
Yep. Yeah. And we learned on that one guitar. We had that guitar for 8 years, because when I graduated high school in 1972 and turned 18, my father bought me my own guitar.
Wow.
That was my first guitar when I turned 18.
Yeah.
Great. Yes.
Well, how old were you when you played professionally?
I was 18.
Okay, what
I
happened?
played my very first, and what they call professional is when you first get paid.
Okay.
That's what they call it, professional. And we played in Saratoga, California, at the Saratoga Community Hall, the Saratoga Community Hall, and it was called a folk festival.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And me and another guy, we both played guitars. Everybody got like 3 songs, but we each got like $20 to do it.
Wow.
And there were local musicians, and it was in 1972. My dad was there, and my dad taped it. And the tape just didn't come out very well, but my dad was there, and he taped it, and that was my first paying gig in 1972.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then where did you go from there?
I was...
Did you go to college or anything?
I tried to go to college, but I had to work. I was I joined the plumbers union. Well, first I was working in the Silicon Valley, San Jose, California. And so right out of high school, we all got jobs working in the electronics field. And it was $3 an hour.
Wow.
Whatever it was. Yeah. So my oldest brother, got a job working at a big amusement park sponsored by Marriott's Hotel, and it was called Marriott's Great America. And it was a big, small Disneyland kind of thing. And so my brother got a job there, and he said, look, they need plumbers. I can get you hired on there as a plumber, and it'll pay you $10 an hour.
That's a lot of money.
And I just said, I dropped that electronic stuff and I went to work there. But he said, you have to join the union. So I joined the plumbers union, but in order to become a certified plumber, you had to take a test. And I had to go to community college, but I had to work at the same time, and I couldn't work at the same time and go to school, and I dropped out.
Yeah.
So I took night classes at the local library in San Jose, because it was the math that was, plumbing test was all math.
Yeah.
And so, but I never made it.
Yeah.
I wasn't a good plumber.
Yeah.
I sucked at plumbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll take a break there. When we come back, we'll pick it up from there.
At Jersey Mike's, they freshly grill your hot subs right in front of you. You can't get that smell anywhere else unless you have one of these. Don't mind me. Take the sizzle to go.
Okay.
Whoops. I'll pay for those.
Here you go, Danny.
Time to get these smells home. Grilled right in front of you. It's a Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above. Ah, that's good sizzle.
Don't let this tax season get the best of you. Let Tax Matters provide you the help you need with your financials. We provide total financial services to individuals, business owners, executives, and independent professionals. Utilizing our services, Tax Matters will work with you to optimize your business and minimize your taxes. We'll work to provide you and your business with the tools and resources you need to build a solid tax and business foundation. If you want financial help that's affordable, experienced, and friendly, call Tax Matters today for a free initial consultation.
I'm Doug Rutter. Welcome back to the podcast, Season 2, Episode 7. My guest is Guitar Slim. You had just joined the plumbers union when we left.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And I was, some people should be honest in life. They really should.
Yeah?
We had a guy come over to do some work inside of a house to do sheetrock repair. We had to kick the guy out of the house.
He didn't know how to do sheetrock repair.
That guy was the worst thing. And he said, oh, my God. Well, I was that way with plumbing. I was a terrible plumber. And people should, God, honestly be honest. They really should. I quit plumbing. I did it for 10 years.
Really?
And
You were bad for 10 years?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I tried different aspects of it. We did different, there's so many different kinds of plumbing.
What were you worst at?
I was worst at filter. We used to build water softening systems. We used to build them and install them. Do you remember Bob's Big Boy hamburger restaurants?
Yeah.
I don't think they have them. They might have one.
Little guy with the hamburger.
Yeah, yeah. And I had a job with the company, and we would service all the Bob's Big Boy. I went to James Garner's house. I changed his water softener inside his house.
Yeah.
We lived in I was staying in Los Angeles just for 1 year. And so we had, the company I was working for had a contract doing the water softening systems for restaurants and personal homes. And
So you say Bob's Big Boy. You remember when Magic Johnson got HIV?
yes.
Okay, he retired from basketball. So he had a retirement party, and me and J.R. Phillips, the guy that has Adventure Zone,
Yep.
me and J.R. and a dentist named Rick Ponsford went to the retirement party. Now, J.R. Phillips always has to go to Bob's Big Boy, always. So we land in L.A., we get a limo to take us to the game, and then the limo's going to take us back. After the game, we're going to fly home, doing it all in one day. Bob's Big Boy's the lunch. So land, get in the limo, go to Bob's Big Boy. I'm standing outside, a bunch of kids come up, and they say, "Are you Eddie Van Halen?" And I said, "I am."
Attaboy.
And they said, "Would you sign some autographs?" I said, "I will." And so I sat there and signed Eddie Van Halen autographs.
Great.
We went to the game. We had a black limo driver, and we went to the game. We came out after the game in the limousine, and the length of the limousine, the guy is passed out, cold, dead cold. He drank all the alcohol in the limousine. So JR went up and he grabbed the thing in the front, and he's all, breaker, 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 breaker. Breaker, breaker. Our limo driver's passed out. So they sent another limo driver over and picked us up. And Brian Kennedy was there too, the guy that just ran for mayor. And we took us to the airport and flew us home. But that's my Bob's Big Boy story.
That's a great Bob story,
Yeah.
man.
Those kids, they probably still there. I don't think it's a real guy.
Yeah, yeah. I was at on a tour when I was with Mark Hummel, and it was in 1986, because I remember we were up in Vancouver, British Columbia, and they were having what's called the 86 Expo up in Vancouver, British Columbia. And it was a great World's Fair thing type situation. Thousands of people. And we're playing at a place called the Yale Hotel, but we're playing that evening. And Mark and I just said, let's go to the Expo. So we're walking along with these thousands of people. And this guy is running, going, George, running. George Thorogood, George Thorogood.
To you? Did you acknowledge him?
No.
Come on, Pat.
I just said, no, I'm not George Thorogood. Incredible.
Okay, so
Wait, you want an autograph? Oh my God.
So what happens now? You're a bad plumber.
Yeah. So I took a job. I left Los Angeles. I was just there for 1 year, and I moved back up to the Bay Area, and I got hired by Mark again. I used to play guitar with Mark Hummel from 76 to 78. And then I left and joined the Navy in 1978. Got out in 82 and moved down to Los Angeles and worked as a plumber down there. And when I left there, I moved back to the Bay Area, and I with Mark Hummel up there, but I had to get a day job because being a musician is not, unless you got a rich girlfriend, it's not going to help you with anything. So I got a job at a music store selling guitars. How was I at that?
Pretty good.
I was the worst freaking guitar salesman. I was terrible.
Really?
Oh my God. They just built a brand new guitar center. This was in Berkeley, California. And in Oakland, California, they just built this brand new guitar center. I mean, it had everything under the sun. And
you sucked at it.
if we didn't have what you needed, when you came in to the store and we didn't have what you needed, go to the Guitar Center, man. You can get it over there at the Guitar Center.
Yeah.
And after about 10 times of that, my boss found me doing that. And he goes, get the hell out of here. And then a friend of his came in who painted the music store. He painted the music store. And he comes in and he said, listen, I got to have a helper. I need someone to help me paint houses. And he goes, take him. So I started painting houses.
How were you at painting houses? Good.
Really good at
Good.
painting houses.
Good.
I painted houses for 20 years.
Good. We found something you could do.
I painted houses for 20 years. But
Were you ever tempted to break inside and just do some plumbing just for the hell of it?
no,
No?
no. But I have a very, I'll make this story palatable for a viewing audience. This is a great one. One of the guys that I worked with at that music store was Tom Fogerty's son.
John Fogerty.
No,
Tom.
Tom is John Fogerty's brother.
I didn't know that.
Well, Creedence Clearwater was Tom Fogerty. He's the oldest brother. And then John Fogerty. He was the younger brother. What was the name of their band before they were Creedence Clearwater?
The Fogertys?
The Gollywogs.
Really?
Yeah. Creedence Clearwater was called the Gollywogs.
Yeah. You were bad at naming bands too. Don't tell me you named that band.
So I used to work with Jeff Fogerty, Tom Fogerty's son. And Jeff lived almost right above the music store. He and his girlfriend lived up there, and Jeff Fogerty was having a plumbing problem up there, and I went and fixed it.
Oh boy.
Huh?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Did you fix it good?
No, I didn't. But I tried.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried. They wouldn't even try. I tried.
Yeah.
And I said, I can do this. I can do it. But it wasn't, it was something with the whole sewer line.
Yeah.
But I tried.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was Jeff Fogerty. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tom Fogerty's son. Yeah.
Yeah. You should do amends and send him a letter and tell him you're
Oh,
sorry.
I keep in touch with
Oh, do you?
Jeff. Yeah.
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 That's cool.
Because he actually was a guitar player, and he used to tour and play with the Funkadelics.
Oh, yeah?
Grand Funk.
Grand Funk Railroad?
No, Funkadelics. What's that guy's name?
George Clinton.
George Clinton from the Funkadelics. Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy used to be with them.
Wow.
He was with them for quite a while.
Really?
Yeah.
So when did you when did you become a serious musician? And don't tell me 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So you were with Mark in the early 70s?
Yeah, 1976. And probably from there was a lot of marijuana involved. I can't remember. But we played our first paid gig in 1972, and I always had a day job. Thank goodness.
Well, how'd you tour?
Well, when I first started out traveling with Mark. No. My very first tour, I was living down there in Los Angeles. And it was what was called a package tour. And I wasn't even scheduled to be on it. But it was a guitar player named Philip Walker, harmonica player named George Harmonica Smith. This is 1983. And then another harmonica player named William Clark and me. And it was what's called a package tour. And each performer, there's a backup band, and each performer does like 3 or 4 songs, you know. And back then, this was 1983, we took 2 vehicles, and then we left Los Angeles. We were gone for 3 months. Back then, you would tour for 3 months at a time.
Wow.
Even with Mark Hummel, we would be gone for 3 months at a time, come home for a couple of weeks, and take off again.
Wow.
For another 3-4 months at a time. But when we first started touring, I had a pickup truck, and Mark Hummel had a Toyota station wagon. And those were the 2, we'd load up all the equipment in those 2 vehicles, and we'd take off.
Wow.
That's how we first, and we did that for a couple of years. And then Mark said, I'm buying a van, we're all riding in the van. And I protested. I said, I want to have my own vehicle. Because you get somewhere and you're there for a week or something. Right. You don't want to just be stuck in a hotel room.
Right.
You want to take off and go. So, but Mark said, if you're not riding in the van, you're not going. So I ended up, we would ride in his van.
Wow.
And that's about as far as I ever got in touring. You know, I was never in a great big bus or airplanes or anything like that.
Yeah.
We just traveled in vans or took our own vehicles.
Yeah.
Did you know little Charlie and the Nightcats?
Sure.
Charlie always drove himself. He would drive the equipment van, but he didn't want anybody riding with him.
Really?
Nope.
Wonder why.
The other guys rode in their own separate vehicle.
I wonder why.
I don't know why. I don't know.
It's a wild thing.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in just a minute on the Rebound Podcast.
At Family Medicine of West Texas, we understand that your health is your most important asset. Whether it's routine care, managing chronic conditions, or just a checkup, we're here for you. Our experienced general medicine doctors take the time to listen and provide personalized care, making sure you feel heard and understood. Your well-being is our priority. Schedule an appointment today at Family Medicine of West Texas, where compassionate care meets trusted expertise. Call us at 915-581-6405 to book your appointment today.
Protect your largest investment with Red Rhino Roofing, locally owned and operated. Our services include roofing contracting, installation, and repairs, all tailored to meet your specific needs. It's vital that you address any roofing issues promptly. We believe in never postponing necessary repairs because small problems can quickly escalate into major concerns. Whether you need minor repairs or a complete roof installation, we're here to help you every step of the way. Call us today to schedule a free consultation, and let's work together to safeguard your home with expert roofing solutions.
Welcome back to the Rebound Podcast. My guest, Pat Chase.
That's right. I'm a grandson of a very famous baseball player, Hal Chase. You know they called him Prince Hal?
Did they?
Yeah.
Is that why they call you Prince Pat?
No, not at all.
Not the same deal?
Not at all, man. Our grandfather, they say, because we grew up in the San Jose, San Francisco Bay Area of California.
Yeah.
This guy got a scholarship to Santa Clara University.
Wow.
And never stepped foot inside of a classroom.
Really? Really?
The Santa Clara University wanted him to play on their baseball team. Now, you'd have to research it and see whether that's true or not. He never stepped foot inside of a classroom.
Wow.
But have you ever heard of...
He didn't graduate as a plumber, did he?
No, he did not at all. No. Now, you know what his last job was, though?
What?
House painter.
Really?
That was his last job.
Maybe that's where you got it from.
No, I got it because I was a terrible guitar salesman. I would send the people over to Guitar Center, and then all of a sudden my boss goes, "Whoa!" He grabs me by the collar. He goes, "Come here. Don't tell people to go over to Guitar Center. We can get them whatever they need." I go, "Okay, but they can drive up a half a mile up the road and get it now. You got to order it for them."
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I brought some memorabilia here of our grandfather. Check that one out. Holy shit, hold that. That's a picture. Our grandfather was a first baseman for the New York Yankees. Was his first team, but before they were called the Yankees, they were called the Highlanders, and they would play at Highland Field, and they were called the New York Highlanders. And I don't have glasses on, but I can't even read what that says.
Let me see.
But there's an insert photo in there too.
Our own Peckless Howell.
Wow.
What does Peckless mean?
I don't know.
San Jose, 1922. Bad Aiken photo.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
He looks like a Peckless. I wonder what that is.
Yeah, I don't know. I know it. I know. But, I brought some,
Those are cool. Are those tobacco cards?
yes, these are tobacco cards. And this one on the back says drum. So that must have been a tobacco. And
Right.
this says sweet Caparel cigarettes.
So this was a Topps card.
Well, I'll tell you a good Topps story too. About 20 years ago, our family was notified via letter from the Topps card company asking permission to reproduce one of his baseball cards.
Really?
And we will pay you this much money.
Yeah. Was it good?
Shit, man, we signed. Yeah, sure. We all signed it, and we all got a check.
Really?
Yeah, man. We
Wow.
got a check for, I don't know, maybe each got $1,500 or something like that.
That's a lot of money.
And so, and they reproduced some of Hal Chase's baseball cards. Yeah.
Chase, the New York American.
The New York Americans. Wow. Wow. And he, like I said earlier,
Did you know all this when you were growing up, or
No.
did you discover it as an adult?
no, I discovered it as an adult, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you, to get off of this baseball subject for just 10 seconds, our father was he worked in the advertising business for radio and television, which was very popular in the 50s and the 60s,
Sure.
to go gather advertisements for radio and television. And so our father was pretty connected with lots of the sports teams. Back in the 60s, they had an ice hockey team called the San Francisco Seals, and our father would come back with hockey pucks and all kinds of stuff, and he was good friends with a lot of the San Francisco Giants, San Francisco 49ers,
Wow.
and all this stuff. And so every year, and if I say this to a guy like you, even to you, you would just go, "What the hell?" My father would give me a white football with all the San Francisco 49ers autographs on it for
What
Christmas.
the hell?
For Christmas. And we'd be out in the street kicking that ball and playing with it. And every year I got one, just like that ball right there.
Yeah.
And it would say, whoever the big names were back then.
Yeah.
And great, and we'd go out as 10-year-old kids out in the street and just kick that football. You hold it and I'll kick it and scuff it on the ground. And there went all the autographs.
So are you a San Francisco fan today?
Well, I just like to watch a good game. We have season tickets.
Your family does?
Yeah, one of my brothers, Hal Chase, has season tickets to the Niners. And he has season tickets to the San Jose Sharks. Now, who are they?
Hockey team.
Oh, good for you. Yep, ice hockey. And then my other brother, the oldest brother, because we both lived in Seattle, Washington, he has season tickets to the Seahawks. And so if the big deal about season tickets, if nobody really knows, for a professional sports team, the real good deal why you would have season tickets, especially if they're in a good section, is for resale. It really is. I mean, my brother he won't go to a night game. Neither one of my brothers will go to a night game.
Yeah.
And so he always sells those tickets, or if family or friends wanted to go. But to be a season ticket holder for the Dallas Cowboys, it's much more profitable to just sell the tickets.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. You ever been to a game?
Yeah. Yeah. We used to go, when I lived in Seattle, we would go to the Seahawks games all the time.
Yeah.
And years ago, Seattle had a basketball team called the Sonics, and they were called the Supersonics. Yeah. So my band used to play at the oh gosh, what was the name of the stadium? I can't remember the name of the place where the Seattle Sonics played, but my band would play there.
Wow.
We played just a little bit before the game would start, and then we'd play during intermission.
So I have a friend that played for the Sonics named Richard Dick Gibbs.
Gibbs, okay.
And he played for the Supersonics back in those days.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, we used to go to a lot of. I only went because my band would play for them, and we also played for the women's basketball team. Seattle Reign. I can't remember what the name of the women's basketball team was. We used to play at halftime. They'd have a big portable stage, and they'd push us out into the middle thing, and my band would play.
Wow.
Seattle Storm? Is it? That's the girls' basketball? Okay. This was in the 80s and 90s, so I don't know if it was name of it back then, but it could have been.
So pushing the ball up the court, tell us some stories about playing with some people that everybody would say, no way.
You mean musically?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
There was a concert. I was in the Navy. Well, we'll even go further back than that, I guess. This is a great story. This was probably in 1976. I was playing in the San Francisco Bay Area, and we were playing every Thursday night. We would play at a place called the Zayani Club, and this place, to get there, was up in the Santa Cruz Mountains. I had a hard time. I lived there, and I had a hard time finding this place. And one Thursday night, and I'm playing there with a fellow named Ron Thompson. And Ron Thompson, at the time, was in John Lee Hooker's Coast to Coast Blues Band. And the drummer, Kenny Swank, he was in John Lee Hooker's Coast to Coast Blues Band at the time, in the early 70s. So we're doing our regular Thursday night deal up at this little bar called the Zayani Club. And the door, and you hear the, Kenny, open the door. And Ron Thompson, the guitar player, goes, hey, Slim, open the door for Johnny. And it was John Lee Hooker.
Wow.
It was his 60th birthday.
Yeah.
And he found his way up there, and he drove up, and I opened the door, and there was John Lee Hooker. And he played with us the whole night on his 60th birthday.
Wow.
Just
That's cool.
a little dumpy dive of a place that we played every Thursday night, you know. And so that was kind of a okay story. Another one was that guy in 1978, that guy Ron Thompson. I had just I joined the Navy, and I just got out of boot camp, and I had like 2-week leave, and I was home for just a minute, and I went to see my friend Ron Thompson and sit in with him. And so I sat in with Ron, and we take a break, and we go into the back room, and this guy's back there, and he goes, "Hey man, you sounded great." And my friend Ron Thompson goes, "Oh, hey Slim, this is Neil Sean. This is Pat Chase, guitar Slim." I go, and I didn't know who Neil Sean.
Yeah.
I just said, "Oh, okay, thanks, man." And did you know that Neil Sean used to play for Santana? You knew that?
Yeah.
Neil Sean was with Santana.
Yeah.
Yeah. My God.
Good guitar player?
He's an incredible guitar player.
Yeah.
Neil Sean.
Yeah.
He didn't play that night that I was sitting in with my friend Ron Thompson. He was just backstage, just hanging out and saying hello.
Do you have a favorite guitar player?
Well, for electric guitar is Albert Collins.
Porch lights on, but nobody's home.
And acoustical guitar is Lightning Hopkins.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. In that style of blues music.
Sure.
And there's, 4,000 incredibly great guitar players. For country bluegrass, I really like Doc Watson a lot.
Yeah.
And there's just too many, to
name.
Yeah, sure. There's way too many to say this guy's really great. And there's some really, really good. You know who Billy Strings is?
The name.
Billy Strings. What an incredible guitar player.
Yeah?
Oh my God. Incredible guitar player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right. We're going to wrap it up. That concludes this episode of the Rebound Podcast. Thanks to my guest, Pat Chase, Guitar Slim.
Okay, but I got a song.
Okay,
Hold on. I got a song. This is a song I wrote for my dad.
Really?
Yeah. Hal Chase. I wrote this song for my dad, and I only performed this song when he was in the audience.
Really?
Yes. That's the only time I performed this song. On April 6th in 1910, my father was born, and I remember when. I was a young boy just learning to play the blues. My father would support me in everything I do. Now I'm a grown man just learning to play the blues. This is my first album, and Dad, it's dedicated to you. And in my younger days, I wish I'd have known just like I know right now. I couldn't say how much I love you, but Dad, I'm telling you right now. Now I remember when you brought me my first guitar. You said, don't stop playing it, and it will take you far. Now I get with my friends and learn to play the blues. It's taken me around the world, and Dad, it's dedicated to you. And in my younger days, I wish I'd have known just like I know right now. I couldn't say how much I love you, but Dad, I'm telling you right now. Yay! Oh man.